Hello everyone, welcome to the Mindful Style series. Today we'll be talking about sustainability. Thank you for coming, thank you for being here. This is a little introduction to sustainability because how can we start our journey without looking into what it actually all means? So we know exactly what to look for when we're researching different brands, different ideas, different fabrics that we want to look for. This will really help out, and so I hope you enjoy. What is sustainability in the first place? We've heard it being thrown around so many times, but what does it actually mean? It's difficult to get the full scope of sustainability right away because it actually is a big umbrella that has many different components to it. So once you understand it, you'll be able to shop with more intention. There have been some cases of greenwashing by companies in the past. You want to make sure that you're equipped with the information so that you can see if a company passes the vibe check. So like I mentioned before, sustainability is a really big umbrella which has these terms in it. The first one is eco-fashion. Eco-fashion is the term of how a garment impacts the environment, whether it's the type of fabric, transportation, how the fabric is made, how much water is used, etc. Always try to consider what the materials are being used and how it is actually sourced. Some healthier alternatives to some fabrics could be lyocell or tencel, lyocell bamboo, organic cotton, hemp, or flax, or you can even go with animal fibers that are responsibly raised. Alpacas, sheep's, mohair, all of that stuff. The next term to consider is ethical fashion. Now, ethical fashion is considering the fair treatment of garment workers, fair pay, and the health and safety of the community itself. More and more companies have been transparent with these types of ethical issues, such as animal welfare, chemicals, pollution, living wages, purchasing practices, and a lot more. I would recommend going into the website fashionrevolution.org for more in-depth analysis on certain companies and their transparency. They're working super hard to incentivize transparency because, once you have more transparency, then you are responsible for this, which can lead to a lot more change. Just remember that the index that they show is not a shopping guide whatsoever. It's not of who's the best company and who's the worst company. It just shows who has been giving out the most information. And so just remember that just because someone might be giving out a lot of their policies and practices doesn't necessarily mean that they don't contribute to poor working conditions, or vice versa. There might be someone that is doing really good behind the scenes, but they don't give out their information, so we just don't know. So this is just an index to see how many people have been giving out this information and how many people have been explaining their policies and just their transparency in general. So that's really something that could be helpful in the future for your research. And the last one that we will be looking into is slow fashion. So as you may hear, the term slow fashion is basically the opposite of fast fashion. So it's slowing down the seasons and really putting more emphasis on the longevity of clothing. I always tend to want to get rid of everything and start fresh. That's always just me, but I'm super glad that I didn't do that because I realize now that keeping some of my fast fashion items and wearing them a lot is actually contributing to slow fashion. And so if you do have a piece of clothing that you really like and that you've had for a very long time, that is part of slow fashion, so it is something to consider. Here are more things that can contribute to slow fashion. First thing that you can do is, and this is something that I really struggle with, is really taking good care of your clothes. So not overwashing your clothes, making sure that you're really following the instructions on the garment label. Something requires you to dry clean it, go dry clean it, things like that, so that you can really enjoy your clothes for a lot longer and it'll look a lot better. If you are thinking of purchasing something, consider how many times that you'll actually wear it. Now, I know for me, some cases where there is a specific item of clothing that I would want to wear for a special occasion, such as maybe a wedding, a baby shower or whatnot. So in certain cases like this, it could be a good option to maybe borrow or rent. Otherwise, if you would like to buy something, just think, am I gonna wear this at least 30 times? And am I gonna have this for a very long time? Then if the answer is yes, then go for it. The next thing to consider when you are looking into slow fashion is looking into high quality clothing. A high price tag does not necessarily mean high quality. Sometimes some price tags are a little bit too high, but it's only based on branding and not necessarily based on how the garment is made. So these are a couple of things that to look to for quality. For example, having some metal zippers instead of some plastic zippers. Just in this case, plastic is a lot easier to break, so if you're able to replace your zippers, then that's great, but otherwise getting a middle zipper is a lot easier. When you're looking into a pattern item, you want to make sure that the pieces really align with the pattern, and that will really show quality as well. You also want to look into if a item has buttons. If it has an extra button inside that you can replace, that means that they know that their garment will stand the test of time and you might need a button in the future. So that's a good indication as well. And last but not least, one thing to consider is good stitching as well. So when you're looking into a product, make sure you're looking at the stitching, see if it's well sewed. If there's any frayed stitching somewhere, that could be a good indication. In conclusion, sustainability focuses on the future, meaning the item is generating environmental, social, and economic benefits that isn't necessarily using a lot of resources or causing a lot of pollution. It is a tall order for some, but it definitely can be done. That is it for this week's video. Stay tuned for more information to come. If there's anything that you would like for me to talk about in this space specifically, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!